Well, with that, I'll call it to order, and we will start with the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Scott? Pedro?
Here.
Here. Dumont?
Here.
Duff?
Here.
Leddy?
Here. I believe you've heard from Mr. Scott that he can't be here, he's out of town. Do I hear a motion to excuse? So moved. Motion Nedrow. God, everybody's in a different position. Sorry about that. Second Duff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. All right. That brings us to our call to the public. Do we have any members of the public who want to comment? Seeing none, we will move on to council applicant interviews. So, before we start up, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for applying. I'm really gratified that we've got such a really good, strong batch of people applying for this position. We'll get to the end. We're only going to be able to select one. We have one opening. But I do want to remind everybody that in November, we have elections for council. So if you're interested and you do want to pursue this, certainly you can make a case to the voters in November. What we'll do is, we've got 8 preset questions. We'll go through. I'll kind of move around a little bit, not starting like same side of the table. We'll start in different spots and go in different directions every now and then. Kind of let you all talk about it. It's not a formal situation. If you have comments or you want to talk, what we really want to do is get a sense of who you are as individuals, what you would bring to the council, what your concerns are, what your history and understanding of the village is. So with all that, hopefully that'll let us make a good decision on what we do. So any questions from council before we start up? No. All right. Well, just so everybody knows, and everybody knows at home, when we get the video eventually up and going, we do have 6 folks here. We have John J.R. Blankenship, Dixie Gannon, Danny Latta, Bob Malik, Craig Minnelletti, and Bonnie Tupper. And we will start over here on the left. We'll start with J.R. Please tell us about yourself and why you want to serve on council.
I wanted to serve on council because I thought there was no one applying for this job, to be frank with everyone. I know we had an issue and we have an opening, and I put my hat into the ring because I thought you needed an applicant. I didn't know that many of my friends would be here and applying for the same position. I can offer 26 years of residency. I own a local business in the village. I have a great ear to most of the residents in our community. I know most of you on the council. I have known you for quite a long time. And I think my ear to the public, I can be a voice to our residents. And I thank you for the consideration today.
All right. Dixie, same question.
I've also been a resident for 26 years. Yeah.
It went by fast.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And 3 houses later on the lake. I really like to help out. My kids, my youngest is a junior in school, and I'm finding I have a lot more time. I keep getting ditched all the time by my teenagers. But I really like to help out. I like to be productive, see what I can do. I like to learn things. I've learned a lot since I've been on the water board and the zoning board. I'm really grateful to be back on. When my son was 19, I was on the water board helping out then. I was really sick when I was pregnant with him, so I thought I should not be trying to hold a seat when I was, not showing up. But I was actually thinking about that today because I knew you'd ask that question. I looked up Wolverine and wanted to, kind of see where the name came from. And I was kind of interested to find out that the Wolverine is most like the bear. And I was thinking, what would I want to do? I really would want to make a difference. And I think when you say you live on Wolverine Lake, people even that are in the area, sometimes they go, where? So I'd like to be a community that would be noted for something really good. And I'd like to give back to the community somehow to, make a difference.
Okay, thanks. Danny, same question. Tell us about yourself and why you want to serve on council.
Well, I'd like to serve on council. First of all, I've lived in the village. It seems like 26 a year seems to be the number. But that's how long I've been here. Dan, we moved in.
Now
almost at the
establishes the median
exact same
residency.
time. We looked at the same houses, and so 26 years seems to be that. I would like to serve on council because of my previous work experience. I've been a general manager at a very large corporation, worked with tons of managers, 350 employees. And I've retired. So I have the time to dedicate in the time that's needed. In my job that I had to deal with managers also in many departments. I had 5 managers, 30 supervisors to deal with. Like you have your departments. You have your water, your zoning, your board and rec. You have to deal with those managers and what they have to say. BLA is on between them to make them work. Hear their concerns and make resolutions to them. And then, because not everybody's going to agree. When you got a lot of managers, they don't agree. But then you got to make it all come together and make it work to run your smooth operation. That takes time. I would like to have gotten involved during my 26 years here, but I couldn't because my job's 24/7. Just like your job is 24/7. You never know when you're going to get that call. You just never know. It could be 2, 3 in the morning, because I've got many of them. So there's many reasons why I would like, and I bring a lot of experience, a ton of experience to the table to offer. Thank you very much.
Bob, same question.
Bob Malik, 1620 Thurston, just if anybody cares. I have to break the chain. I've been here 40 years plus.
You win, Bob.
And
Yeah.
I've seen it go from gravel roads to a muddy old dirty lake, and I've just seen things improve and change. I have over 10 years' experience on the council in the past. I've had over 20 years' experience on the zoning board of appeals. I have had a short stint on Parks and Recs. I've been on the finance committee. And all as you people up there all know, I'm here for meetings, and I sure let you know what I believe in and don't believe in. But that's part of being a resident in this community, someone who cares, okay? I've been active in the Spring Lake Heights subdivision for 35-plus years. I helped build that, and there's other people that are doing that now because I'm at an age where, let the young ones do it. I raised a couple of daughters in this community. I have a daughter who has raised her children right down the street from me in this community. And I believe in the community, always have. I wouldn't have moved out here 40 years ago and thought that, geez, it's just another place to park my backside for a couple of years and leave. I know my neighbors, I know a lot of you people. I always don't see eye to eye, but that's the idea of having a board, because it's the majority and the different point of views. I hope to stay committed to the community. If I'm fortunate enough to get this position, I will serve in it as I did in the past to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Hi, Craig Minoletti, about 22 years, so I guess I don't have as much gray hair as some of the other folks, but current ZBA chairperson. I've been on ZBA now 11 years, been the chairperson for 8. The reason why I would like to join council is I'd like to see some change. I'd like to see us keep moving forward with the lake. I think the lake is one of the more important things that we have. Keep making that better and better. I don't see the reason why we can't be similar to Pine Lake, and I'd like to put some things moving forward to try to make the lake a better place. I know we've got some things in place now to make it better. I have a young daughter, so I plan to be in the community for at least another 12 to 15 more years. It's time, it's the right time for me. Being that I'm in the real estate mortgage business, I understand dealing with people, and not everybody's going to agree. But also being on ZBA, I've also dealt with quite a few people within this village, and that's a very good experience because I've sat on that side of the table as well as Bob and some of these other folks. So I know what it takes to sit on that side of the table and have to make decisions for people who sit in the audience. Thank you.
And Bonnie, same question.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Tupper. I'm the odd man out, or odd woman out here, because I've only lived here for 7 years.
Help you out,
So
yeah.
I know, I was like, yeah, there's the door. So I can't begin to have the long-term relationships and the history that some of these folks do with the village, but in a lot of ways, I think maybe that's what makes me a unique candidate, is that, my husband and I looked at a lot of properties before we purchased them on Wolverine Lake. And we in 2010, we bought the ugliest house in the lake and made it our castle. And it is home, and I love this village. I absolutely love it. I've moved a lot in my life, and I don't want to move again. I love it here. But I think as a relative newcomer, there are a lot of long-term relationships here, and sometimes, as friendly as everyone is and as fun as it is here, sometimes that can be hard to infiltrate. And we have done that, and people have reached out to us, and I want to maybe bring some fresh perspectives to the table, perspectives of someone who is newer to the community. Maybe I see things in a little bit different way than someone who's lived here for 25 years. Not necessarily better, just different, a new perspective. I do love this community, and there are, as wonderful as I think it is, there are a few things I think could make it better. I'm like this gentleman. I do think we could be a community of choice, with just a little more direction in one way or the other, and I'd love to be a part of that.
All right. Thank you all. Next question is going to be, how will your background assist you in being a council person? And this time we'll start with Dixie and we'll move that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been on the water board for about 6 months now, and before that I was on, I believe, 2 or 3 years. I really love the lake. I don't make it a secret that I would like to do things more natural on the lake. And I think that there's a lot of people that are trying to work for the same thing. I have a job that I help people, and yesterday the airport was shut down for 2 hours. And there was not a lot of happy people, but I like to help people and kind of know how to try to reason with people and get what you want. So, it's all about respect and trying to learn and trying to grow. So, I think I work with people well. As far as the question, my background, I love the lake. I want to be here. I want to help out.
All right, thanks. JR?
I'm 26 years also sales manager for an automotive parts manufacturer. I've managed up to 25 people at a time. I guess my strong skills are that I listen to a variety of opinions every day, both as a sales manager and as an owner and operator of the local tavern. And I think I bring an unbiased opinion, an understanding of a lot of the issues in our community, and I feel that I can represent fairly all our residents. Thank you.
All right. Bonnie, same question?
Would you just repeat the
Oh,
question?
yeah, sure. How will your background assist you in being a council person?
Well, I have almost 20 years as a human resource executive and about another 8 years in business operations. So, my whole job is to listen to people, help businesses work through their strategies, understand what the core, the root cause of issues are, figure out what the best solution is for the business or, the entity, figure out who all it's going to affect. Does this reflect our core values and our mission? That's what I do for a living. And I think a lot of what the council does is that you're listening to people, you're understanding what their issues are, you're formulating those in a collective group to understand what our priorities need to be based on the greater residence population. If you live on the lake, some of us live on the lake, some of us don't. We have residents, all through the village. They all need to be represented, and they all have different needs and different things. And that's what I do for a living. With my business operations background, I've managed budgets, P&Ls, more people than you can count. So the business side of it is second nature to me, understanding the responsibilities you take when you're spending other people's money and making decisions that could fundamentally affect their lives. That's a lot on your shoulders, and you need to take that seriously and with forethought and respect.
Craig, same question.
Being a licensed real estate broker and mortgage consultant, I mean, part of what my daily job is to help our clients, not only in the residential area, but also in the commercial area. We deal with a lot of high finance, a lot of complicated finance, especially when we're getting into commercial buildings. What I've done for 29 years now is, assist the public in actually being able to achieve their goals in doing that. But I think bringing that experience to council, being able to listen to what the public is looking for, and then being able to go back during work sessions and being able to put a budget together and understand this isn't my money, it's not your money, it's their money. How are we going to spend it the right way? I've not always agreed sometimes with how things were spent, but that's okay, because, that's why we have a council. So part of what I do on a daily basis is deal with people. I probably answer 50 phone calls and 200 emails a day just trying to get out to our clients what we're trying to accomplish. So I think just the communication factor that I do on a daily basis would definitely help when it comes to representing the council. Thank you.
Bob, how would your background help you on council?
Well, I've had over 40 years' experience in metal sales. Majority of that has been in the steel business. I've got into it before like Craig mentioned, the emails and texts and all this stuff, when you had to personally talk to, face people, listen to them, converse back and forth, find out their needs, see how your product is going to fit into their business, okay? And it's the same thing here in the public that, my neighbors and things, not everyone agrees. Not everyone, I've heard so many comments in the past, well, why doesn't council do this or that? And I always say, there's a call to the public, show up and voice your opinion. Well, it's the same thing when I was in the steel business for all those years, okay? Unless that person says to me what their needs or wants or dislikes are, I'm never going to know. I'm not going to find a way to solve that problem for them. I've been involved in the community, as most of you know. I plan on staying involved. And my sales background and the way I've handled people, I think that I can continue to help the community.
Danny, same question.
Well, my background, again, as I stated earlier, it consists of me being a general manager of a large corporation for over 15 years. Making managers and everything work cohesive unit to make it work. I've dealt with all the federal, state agencies, OSHA, many times. I've dealt with the media, been on TV, been interviewed, know what it's like to have a microphone stuck in your face when an occurrence happens. And I know how to answer to the media. Number one is always, it's no comment. There's an investigation going, and if let's say something happened here or on the water, my answer would be to the media, because believe me, they'll put that microphone in your face, because they're all looking for that story. My experience tells you on what to do. I would just say, in this case, I have no comment. Investigation is on, and once that's been concluded, any comment that will come from Administrator Byrd, President Maggie, or if it's police-related, Chief Ellsworth. And that's it. I have no comment, and I won't have a comment in the future. You shut them off right there. So that's how you deal with the media, and and stuff like that. I've dealt with, again, all the federal agencies, whether it's Michigan, federal, OSHA, all of them. I'm compliant. I was big audit. I'm big into audits. If you run an audit correctly, you run a successful business. You all need to be commended on yours, because about 3 meetings ago, you had a lady up here that said you passed a successful audit. Congratulations to all of you. That tells me, as a resident, that my village is running properly. I may not agree all the time, but it's running properly. One thing working with managers, you also realize is they have points. You may not agree with 80%, but you got to listen to everything they say, because one sentence catches your attention, and you go, yeah, that's right. So are there things that I voted on I didn't agree? Absolutely. Why? Because it was best for the company, the best for that need. One thing as a village person we have to look at when we make decisions is, how do we gather that information to make that decision? Is it fact-based? Is it what's needed? And then, what's the financial burden to the residents of our village? I want to make sure we stay as a village too. Don't want to become a city. That's one of my biggest complaints on that. But that's my background, and that's what and plus a volunteer. Along with JR here, we've volunteered for every single thing in this village that there is. I don't think anyone can know anything more about the village and its people than JR and myself. But we're a lot of founders in things. But that's my background.